Who am I? I'm the greatest. Who am I? I'm getting paid. Who am I? I'm so flagrant. Who am I? I'm the greatest. Who am I? I'm getting paid. Who am I? I'm so flagrant.
What's going on, Cancer? This is Bob Roy here. It's your reading for the month of September. All right, guys, if you like this reading, please like, share, subscribe. Thank you so much. Let's get started with your reading. So, Cancer, I pulled for your energy from the Pocket Animal Spirit deck. Once we get that clarity, I'm going to shuffle for you guys from the Tarot deck. We're going to also dive into the Fairy Oracle deck, and then we're going to end it up with the Hard Truth Tarot deck as well. So let's get started. So for you, Cancer, I got the snake, the stingray, and for your energy that's around you in your environment, we got the lizard, and we got the tarantula as well, okay? All right, let's get started. So you guys are in a space where you're no longer putting in that, that working type of energy to keep someone in this anxious attachment, okay? You guys could be working around someone who has this, this way of looking in situations or looking at their team as far as from this paranoid type of perspective. And you guys probably were in a space where you were able to sort of talk this person off the ledge, and you're realizing that's becoming a pattern, okay? They're not really healing from their behavior. They're not really seeing things from a different lens. You're just enabling them in a situation, and you're no longer going to do that, okay? Because it's slowing you down. Okay, the stingray is all about making that positive change, looking at things that no longer are serving you, looking at situations for your family, friends, and also your work environment that's becoming like a stumbling block. And you're realizing that this person is having that stumbling block, okay? With this lizard that has that fire energy, so this person could really be emotionally sensitive when it comes down to being in an environment or with around new people, okay? This could be someone that's new on your team, okay? This could be someone that has been on your team for a while, okay? But they just have this way as far as not really warming up to new people, okay? They could be in a situation where it's like they're comfortable with those who have been in their team environment, but when it comes down to communication towards new people in their environment, it can be very choppy, it can be very impulsive. And you guys are really looking at it from your lens as far as being that emotionally wise perspective to say, hey, you know what? We can't go about, treating people with disrespect and expecting that they're going to treat you better or treat you in a place where they're open towards you, okay? Because this person here can look at situations or look at their environment to say, okay, you know what? Oh, woe with me. This is so hard for me. Or this person's so difficult and challenging. They like to have people in their web of confusion, but you're looking at it from, like I said, a logical perspective and having that interpersonal intelligence to say, no, I see your mess. Okay, this is what you're bringing into the table. This is the web that you're trying to have people looking at with your delusion. And you're like, I'm not going to have people around you, okay, get that same type of anxiety with people who I'm working on as a team to really grow and develop and have that type of understanding to really move us forward in our journey, okay? Because you're really putting your foot down, Cancer. You're putting your foot down to say, okay, it's one thing, okay, I understand where you're coming from. I understand where you are mentally, but I'm not going to enable your past trauma in this work environment, okay? Because you're seeing that this person has a voice, okay? And like I said, one thing about it is that lizard energy, okay, it's a showman too, okay? It's able to it doesn't have that sense of emotional intelligence. It has that, it's almost from an emotional selfish type of lens, okay? It has that impulsive fire energy that you could see, like I said, we're working with this individual. They're able to sort of bring people close to them, have that magnetism to them. But when it comes down to really understanding other people's point of view, understanding their own bad behavior, it could be a roadblock with with them in that process, okay? And you guys are no longer going to have them in that particular roadblock situation because you're looking to say, okay, what is needed for me to sort of break this tie? Or trying to break this time, this work environment that's having people sort of falter with developing these interpersonal relationships, okay? You're telling this person, okay, yeah, you know what? I understand where you're coming from. I understand that, that you may have some challenges with this person, but you don't have to go into the room, fixated on their energy. You can sort of remove yourself from the environment. You can kind of, like I said before, be in your own little world, be in your own little space to know that, hey, you know what? This person I'm working with or whatever, I don't know the ins and out of their lives, and they don't know the ins and out of mine. Okay. And this person is really, it's almost like they're giving oh, I'm an empath. I could pick up on people and their vibe and their energy, but no, they can't pick up on that. They're just picking up on, they're just so emotionally sensitive in the environment that they're picking up on everything. Okay, they're reading into situations, and you're like, okay. In Cancer, like I said, you guys had that natural empathic type of lens, and so you're looking at it. You're like, okay, I'm seeing what you're doing. You're not reading into this like as a place as far as having that wisdom with dealing with other people. You're reading into it where you want people to sort of like, act the way that you want it to be, act the way that you want them to go about interacting with you. You're like, that's not what we're trying to do here. Okay. You're like, okay, we have respect in the environment. That's great. We're going to have a cycle as far as having respect with one another. This person or people around you in your environment are not going to act the way that you want them to act to make life easier for you. Okay. You're being very blunt. Okay. This person may not like what you're dishing out to them, Cancer, but it's the truth of the matter. But this is going to have you break the web of the situation. Okay. This is going to have you release yourself from this impulsive type of madness that's affecting your team environment or affecting you as a leader when it comes down to really growing into your next level in your career. Okay. Let's go forward with the Fairy Oracle deck here to get some more clarity. And then we're going into the Tarot deck as well. So we have, let's see, the Bright Mother. We have the Spirit Dancer. Let's see here. We have Parents of the Future. We have, let's see, Gleam Away card. And we have the Topsy Turvy. And we have Nickel and Knuckle. Okay. So let's get started with that. All right. So you're the bright mother in the situation. Okay. This is just energy. Okay. So you're bringing in that emotional intelligence and you're seeing beyond the veil of the situation. You're like, okay, you know what? We're going to release ourselves in this pattern of confusion. The spirit dancer is finding that sense of freedom in the situation. Okay. You guys could have been very much so controlled with this person in your environment with their anxiety. Okay. And you're like, we're not going to bring this ancient energy. This anxious energy in our work environment. We're not going to bring this madness on a daily basis. You're breaking free from that, okay? Because you're looking at growing your team in the right direction. You're looking at growing with your team also in the right direction as well, okay? So you're looking as far as saying, okay, what's going to hold us back? What's going to hold you back is having a mindset where it's geared towards that selfish perspective where someone just wants to have their emotions catered to and sort of had them sort of being like, cocoon in a box with everybody around them. Okay. You're like, I don't have time to put in my energy towards that. Okay. This person has to go about that healing. Okay. They could have had past trauma. They could have had past work trauma as well. Okay. We got the Lean Away card here. You see the battered wings, but you're telling this person, you know what, to move forward successfully, okay, Fairies of the Future, you have to get healing from this, okay, because your team environment now is not giving you this toxic level and this toxic energy, okay? You're in a new environment. You're telling them you're in a new environment. You have to give your own self some boundaries, how you handle people in your environment, and also having boundaries for your emotions as far as like saying, okay, you know what, let me not just over-engage with people, okay, just to get my pat on the back for the day. Okay. You're telling this person, you have to put in, some understanding, not only just on your direction on how you process things, but how you coming across towards other people. Okay. For instance, like, okay, if, you're dealing with a team environment, they're working on some heavy duty projects for you. Okay. They're going about process where it takes in a lot of time and energy. And this person sort of like, going straight towards them in a very direct, a very abrasive direction. And that team members or those team members who are working on the project, they're like, okay, this person, how they interact is very disrespectful. It's very rude. They don't know how to read the room. You're telling this person a lot of your behavior and a lot of your own anxiety is from you not being able to read the room correctly, okay? Because Cancer, one thing about it is you're able to read the room successfully. You had that water energy in you to understand that, that's, like I said, you have that mothering energy in you to understand, okay, you know what, it's not only what I perceive, okay, it's also what's going on, what other people perceive or what other people there take on the situation is, okay? You're able to see what's going on from not only from your lens, but also from someone else, and also come across with a logical conclusion as far as how to handle the situation in the proper way, okay? Because you're not going to have the environment in this topsy-turvy situation with someone sort of leading your team or putting that energy in your team in a negative direction, okay? Because this person, like I said, can have a lot of that emotional immaturity, that nickel and knuckle card here. That emotional immaturity is very loud, okay? And like I said, they can go into really understanding their own perspective. And, for a while, Cancer, you probably, gave them the benefit of the doubt without understanding, okay, oh, wow, this person has some emotional immaturity. That's why every day is becoming an issue, okay? It could increase more and more and more, and you're like, okay, this is coming from how you go about interactions with new people, okay? And you're looking at it like you're really talking to your team about it. You could talk to your coworkers about it, saying like, hey, we need to really work on our interpersonal connections here. This is essential, and we have to work on having the understanding as far as like how we are entering people in their space, okay, how we're communicating with people effectively. If it's coming from a negative direction, okay, this person can have like a very sharp tongue, working on how to build those bridges effectively in a positive direction without being disrespectful for those in their environment, and it won't be any type of seed of mess that's brewing, with your coworkers or with other interactions with other people who are on different teams, okay? You're going about that process. So let's go further with the tarot deck. I'm going to end with the hard truth deck, Cancer. This will get some advice as well. All right. Let's go into that tarot deck to get some clarity. Let's see here. All right. So we have the Nine of Cups. So we have the Tower. We have the Queen of Wands. We have the Eight of Cups. We have the Ten of Swords. We have the Three of Swords, okay? All right. One more card. Let's see here. And we have the Ten of Wands, okay? All right, somebody's feeling burdened, but not you in the situation. Let's see, okay? So we got the Nine of Cups. You guys are looking to get stability in your own type of manner when you're trying to, like I said, you're looking to see what are the roadblocks that's causing me to be stagnant. You're breaking free of those roadblocks, okay? And this Tower is going to have this lizard shaken up because I think they're so used to being cuddled in a situation. They're not really understanding. They're not really used to understanding people's perspective, okay? They're used to being in a space where people sort of like, rub their back, say, okay, well, you know what? I'm going to go into defense mode, making sure things are okay with you. But you're like, no, we're not going by this process. I'm looking at it from a whole larger lens. So we're about to go about proper changes from every direction here to make sure that we're effectively on the right page as a team. That's a growing environment, okay? Like I said, you guys are having that Queen of Wands perspective as well, having that intuition, but also being that blunt energy, okay? And this is how you really get with this lizard because they're coming with that chaotic fire energy. The Queen of Wands has that, that contained energy, knowing how to make those proper moves, but they also have that wisdom to come in that situation to really, light in the truth in the situation, okay? You're doing that for that person and they're not happy about it, okay? They got the Eight of Cups, okay? They could walk away from the situation. They could walk away from your team, okay? But you're like, I'm not going to put myself or my team in jeopardy from this person who has this anxiousness, okay? Who has this, like I said, this, that stirring the pot type of dynamics causing a lot of confusion, okay? Not going into any type of negative feeling with someone who has those anxiety issues, but you're trying to, like I said, have that emotional conversation with them to understand where they're coming from, but you're not allowing them to demonize people in their work environment where it's just coming out of left field, where it's like no reason from them to have these type of thoughts or have these type of, emotional, raging situations where it's like there's nothing there to prevent, to really put a focus on the issue. You know what I'm saying? There's nothing there to really have any type of complaints. You're like, we're not going to put ourselves in this confusion type of perspective, and you're protecting your team from that, okay? And like I said, they could be at that Ten of Swords, okay? They could leave from the situation with that three of Swords perspective as well, brokenhearted. But like, if you're not willing to change, okay, if they're not willing to change in the situation, that's going to have y'all on this looping pattern. And you're not going to do that. You guys are seeing things from where they are, okay, as far as like how to go about things in in a healthy direction, and you're like, I'm not going to put myself in a place where I'm holding on to this person's this person's like, bad behavior, or this interaction where it's not really growing in the right direction, because it's going to have me weighed down. Okay. They may leave, Cancer. This person that's working with you, they may leave. They may walk away from the situation, but that's not your problem. Okay. You're all about, giving them that clarity. You had that emotional intelligence to give them that understanding. If they're not willing to hear that proper understanding as far as how to go about effective communication and working on those interpersonal relationships, then guess what? Hey, do what's best for you. That's what you're saying, Cancer. You're like, do what's best for you. I'm not going to baby you. You don't need to baby anyone in your work environment. Okay. Let's go into the hard truth deck to get some clarity as far as what you're going to need in the month of September. So we have misread signs. Okay. And we have pride. Pride can have them walking out the door. So misread signs. You're misinterpreting signals and wandering off course. Reevaluate to follow the path of natural flow. So this person here is misreading a lot of signals. Okay, I'm finding that listen for you guys. They're going in the situation just misreading signals. And people probably coming up to you, Cancer, saying like, it's not even that big of a deal. I'm not even giving this person issues. So you're probably trying to be in a place where you're understanding this person. You're like, okay, well, are you being picked on? Are you coming across a lot of issues? And you're going back and you're actually looking at the other perspective. You're listening towards how the interaction went. You're reading into a whole lot of things that are not true. Okay. You need to work on your own healing in the situation, because you're going off of your own impulsive emotions. Okay. And we have pride here. Ego is obstructing your progress and building walls where there could be bridges. Make it difficult to accept help or admit wrongdoing. Humility opens the path to the truth, to true connection and understanding. Okay. And this person here could walk away from their job out of pride. And that's nothing for you to worry about. Okay. If they're not willing to really put in the work to really understand how to have successful interpersonal relationship without just looking at how they're affected in the environment, let them walk away, Cancer. Okay. Let them walk away. That's not for you to have no sense of beat yourself up about it. If they're not willing to put in that work to effectively grow with people in their environment, they're not going to be a key factor to your team, and let them go about their business. Okay. Let them take their toxic behavior on to somewhere else. Okay. Let them go about, finding something else, finding the help that they need. Maybe they'll come to this lesson, later on in time. Hey, you planted the seed. That's all you can do. If you plant the seed to let this person know, hey, this right here is not going to be a good flow for you, they're going to learn a lesson eventually, but hey, it may not be from you. But hey, if they choose to say, hey, I'm out the walk, let them walk. All right, Cancer, this is your reading for the month of September. Looking forward to talking to you soon. Have a good one.
Who am I? I'm the greatest. Who am I? I'm getting paid. Who am I? I'm so flagrant. Who am I? I'm the greatest. Who am I? I'm getting paid. Who am I? I'm so flagrant.